Blackthorn Manor loomed over the misty hills of northern England like a decaying tooth. Its once grand facade now a patchwork of crumbling stone and creeping ivy. The manor's history stretched back centuries, to a time when the Blackthorn family's influence spread across the county like a spider's web. But power, as it often does, bred darkness. In the small town of Morndale, nestled in the valley below, whispered tales of the manor's sinister past were passed down through generations. They spoke of unholy rituals, of deals struck with forces beyond mortal comprehension, and of the night when the entire Blackthorn family vanished without a trace. Since then, Blackthorn Manor had stood empty, a silent sentinel watching over Morndale with its hollow-eyed windows. The bravest, or most foolish of the town's youth, occasionally ventured near its rusted gates on dares, but none dared cross the threshold. Those who strayed too close reported hearing whispers on the wind, seeing flickers of movement in the corners of their eyes, feeling an oppressive weight settle on their chests. As decades passed, the manor faded from daily conversation, becoming little more than a local ghost story. But some secrets refused to stay buried, and the darkness that slumbered within Blackthorn Manor was about to be awakened once more. Chapter 1. The discovery. Emma Hartley sat cross-legged on her bed, the blue light of her laptop casting a ghostly glow across her freckled face. At 15, she was already known throughout Morndale High as the resident weird girl, a title she wore with pride. Where her peers busied themselves with social media and gossip, Emma's passions lay in the realms of the paranormal and unexplained. Her room was a testament to her obsessions. Posters of famous hauntings adorned the walls. Shelves groaned under the weight of books on cryptozoology and the occult, and a corkboard was covered in newspaper clippings about local legends. As she scrolled through an obscure forum dedicated to paranormal phenomena, a post caught her eye. The username was Vale Squirewalker, and the message was brief but tantalizing. Blackthorn Manor holds secrets beyond imagination. Found old family journals, map to hidden chamber, artifact of great power. Who dares to seek the truth? Emma's heart raced. Blackthorn Manor had always fascinated her, but her parents had strictly forbidden her from going anywhere near it. This could be her chance to uncover the truth behind the legends. Without hesitation, she opened a video chat with her best and only friend, Jack Turner. Jack's face appeared on the screen, his messy brown hair sticking up at odd angles and his glasses slightly askew. Em? It's almost midnight. What's up? Emma could barely contain her excitement as she explained what she'd found. This could be huge, Jack. Think about it. We could solve the mystery that's been hanging over this town for generations. Jack's expression shifted from sleepy confusion to concern. I don't know, Em. That place gives me the creeps. Plus, you know how my dad is. If he found out I went there. Jack's father, the town's sheriff, was known for his overprotective nature and no-nonsense attitude towards rule breakers. Come on, where's your sense of adventure? Emma pleaded. We've been talking about exploring Blackthorn Manor for years. This is our chance. She could see Jack's resolve wavering. They'd been friends since childhood, bonding over their shared status as outsiders. Where Emma was bold and impulsive, Jack was cautious and analytical. They balanced each other perfectly. After several minutes of back and forth, Jack finally sighed in resignation. Fine, but we need a solid plan, and if anything feels off, we leave immediately. Deal? Emma's face split into a wide grin. Deal. We'll meet tomorrow after school and work out the details. As they said their goodnights and the call ended, Emma felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Little did she know, the secrets of Blackthorn Manor were far darker and more dangerous than she could have imagined. The next day crawled by with agonizing slowness. Emma found herself unable to focus in class, her mind constantly wandering to thoughts of hidden chambers and mysterious artifacts. During lunch, she and Jack huddled in a quiet corner of the cafeteria, speaking in hushed tones as they planned their expedition. I've got flashlights, extra batteries, and some snacks, Jack said, ticking items off on his fingers. I also borrowed my dad's old walkie-talkies, just in case our phones don't work in there. Emma nodded approvingly. Good thinking. I've got a first aid kit, some rope, and I printed out the map from the forum post. She paused, biting her lip. There's just one thing. Think we should bring this. She reached into her bag and pulled out an old leather-bound book. Jack's eyes widened in recognition. Is that? Yeah, Emma confirmed. My great-grandmother's journal. Remember how I told you she was into all that occult stuff? There are some weird symbols and incantations in here. I thought they might come in handy if we encounter anything. You know, supernatural. Jack looked skeptical, didn't argue. He knew how much stock Emma put in her great-grandmother's writings. As the final bell rang, signaling the end of the school day, a strange feeling settled over Emma. It was as if a cold finger was tracing its way down her spine. For a brief moment, she considered calling off the whole thing, but her curiosity quickly overpowered her apprehension. They agreed to meet at the edge of town at dusk. As Emma walked home to gather her supplies, she failed to notice the strange, shimmering distortion in the air behind her, or the whispered words that seemed to come from nowhere. The wheel turns, the veil thins, they come. Dusk fell over Morndale like a velvet curtain, bringing with it a thick, clammy mist that clung to everything it touched. Emma and Jack stood before the rusted gates of Blackthorn Manor, their breath visible in the chill air. The manor itself seemed to loom larger than ever, its windows like vacant eyes staring down at them. The overgrown grounds rustled with unseen movement, and somewhere in the distance, an owl hooted mournfully. Last chance to back out, Jack mumbled, his voice quavering slightly. Emma shot him a determined look, trying to project more confidence than she felt. No way. We've come this far. They squeezed through a gap in the fence, the rusted metal leaving streaks of orange on their clothes. As they approached the main entrance, Emma felt a strange resistance in the air, as if the very atmosphere was trying to push them back. The front door, a massive oak affair with intricate carvings, creaked open with surprising ease. It was as if the house was inviting them in, eager to share its long-held secret. The entrance hall was a scene of faded grandeur. A grand staircase swept upwards, its once gleaming banister now dull and sticky with dust. Portraits lined the walls, their subjects' eyes seeming to follow the teenagers as they moved. Did you see that? Jack whispered, his flashlight beam dancing nervously across the room. I could have sworn that painting just moved. Emma was about to reassure him when a faint sound reached her ears. It was like a whisper, but not quite. More like the memory of a whisper, echoing from somewhere deep within the house. Let's find that hidden chamber, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. The sooner we find the artifact, the sooner we can leave.
As they moved deeper into the manor, the whispers grew more insistent. Words began to form, tantalizing snippets that disappeared as soon as Emma tried to focus on them. The price of knowledge. Time is a circle. The lady waits. The air grew colder with each step, and shadows seemed to move of their own accord in the periphery of their vision. Emma clutched her great-grandmother's journal tightly, drawing comfort from its familiar weight. They passed through a series of rooms, each in a greater state of decay than the last. In what must have once been a ballroom, they found a massive mirror covering one wall. Its surface was cloudy and distorted, and for a moment Emma thought she saw figures dancing in its depths. Finally, they reached a door that matched the description on the map. It was smaller than the others, easily overlooked, with strange symbols carved into its frame. This is it, Emma breathed, her heart pounding, the entrance to the hidden chamber. As Jack reached for the handle, a gust of wind howled through the corridor, extinguishing their flashlights and plunging them into darkness. In that moment of blind panic, Emma felt a presence behind her, ancient, powerful, and undeniably malevolent. A voice, unlike any she had ever heard, whispered directly into her mind, "Welcome, seekers of truth. Your journey begins now." The door swung open of its own accord, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness beyond. Before either of them could react, an unseen force pulled them in, and the door slammed shut behind them. Blackthorn Manor stood silent once more, but now with two more souls added to its collection of lost wanderers. Emma and Jack tumbled through darkness, all sense of direction lost. It felt as if they were falling for an eternity, yet also for no time at all. Finally, they landed hard on a cold stone floor. As they struggled to their feet, disoriented and gasping, they realized they were in a vast circular chamber. The walls were lined with bookshelves that stretched up into darkness, filled with ancient tomes and strange artifacts. In the center of the room stood an ornate, full-length mirror, its surface rippling like disturbed water. "Where are we?" Jack whispered, his voice tight with fear. Before Emma could respond, the air around them began to shimmer and distort. Translucent figures materialized, men and women in clothing from various historical periods, all with the same lost, longing expression in their eyes. A melodious voice answered, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You have crossed the veil, young ones. Welcome to the realm of echoes, where all times exist at once." A figure materialized before them, a woman in an elegant Victorian dress, her form translucent and shimmering with an inner light. Despite her ethereal appearance, her eyes held a depth of sadness that made Emma's heart ache. "I am Lady Blackthorn, or rather, what remains of her. You seek the artifact, do you not?" Emma nodded, unable to speak. Jack stood frozen beside her, his eyes wide with disbelief. Lady Blackthorn's expression turned sorrowful. "The artifact is a curse, child. It grants the power to see all of time, but at a terrible cost. Those who use it become trapped here, neither living nor dead, forever watching the flow of time, but unable to participate in it." "But why?" Emma finally found her voice. "Why create such a thing?" Lady Blackthorn sighed, the sound like wind through autumn leaves. "It was not created, but discovered. My husband, Lord Blackthorn, was a man obsessed with the nature of time. He spent years studying ancient texts and forgotten lore, seeking a way to transcend the limitations of mortality." As she spoke, the air around them shimmered, and Emma saw visions of the past. A man hunched over a desk covered in arcane symbols, expeditions to far-flung corners of the world, rituals performed under a moon turned blood red.
He found what he sought, Lady Blackthorn continued, but it was not what he expected. The artifact, a simple pocket watch in appearance, opened his eyes to the true nature of time, but that knowledge came at the cost of his humanity. He became trapped between moments, unable to fully exist in any one time. "What happened to the rest of the Blackthorn family?" Jack asked, his scientific curiosity momentarily overriding his fear. Lady Blackthorn's form flickered, her expression pained. "We tried to help him, to bring him back, but in doing so, we too became caught in the artifact's web. Now we exist here, in this place beyond time, watching the world move on without us." Emma's mind raced, trying to process everything she was hearing. "But then, how are we here? How are we able to cross over?" "The veil between worlds thins at certain times," Lady Blackthorn explained, "and there are those who, knowingly or not, have an affinity for such crossing." Her gaze fell on Emma's bag, where her great-grandmother's journal peeked out. "You carry old knowledge with you, child. It guided your path here." Suddenly, the gravity of their situation hit Emma. "How do we get back?" she asked, a note of panic creeping into her voice. Lady Blackthorn gestured to the mirror. "That is your way home. But beware, the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. Already the mortal world begins to forget you." As if to illustrate her point, the mirror's surface cleared, showing them a vision of Morndale. They saw their parents, going about their day with no sign of concern for their missing children. It was as if Emma and Jack had never existed. "Quickly now," Lady Blackthorn urged, "step through, and do not look back. And whatever you do, do not touch the artifact. Its pull is strongest on the young and curious." Jack didn't hesitate. With a last, fearful look around the chamber, he stepped up to the mirror. Its surface parted like a curtain, and he pushed through, disappearing from view. Emma paused, her insatiable curiosity warring with her sense of self-preservation. What would happen if I used the artifact? Just once, Lady Blackthorn's eyes widened in alarm. "No, child, that way lies only sorrow." But Emma's hand had already closed around the artifact, a small, innocuous-looking pocket watch hidden in a nearby drawer. As soon as she touched it, visions flooded her mind. The past, future, all of time laid bare before her. She saw civilizations rise and fall, stars born and dying, the very fabric of the universe unfolding. She saw countless possible futures branching out before her, and the true cyclical nature of time itself. It was beautiful, terrible, and utterly overwhelming. When the visions cleared, Emma found herself alone in the library. The mirror showed only her reflection now. Jack and her world lost to her forever. Lady Blackthorn appeared beside her, a look of profound sadness on her face. "I'm sorry, my dear. You are one of us now, The artifact has claimed you, as it claimed us all." Emma tried to cry, but no tears would come. She realized with growing horror that she no longer felt hunger, thirst, or even the beating of her own heart. She was trapped, a mere echo in the halls of eternity. Time lost all meaning for Emma. She watched as epochs passed in the blink of an eye, saw empires crumble to dust, and new worlds rise from the ashes. The other trapped souls in the realm of echoes became her companions, each with their own tale of curiosity and tragedy. She learned of Lord Blackthorn's desperate attempts to undo what he had done, of the generations of seekers who had been lured to the manor by the siren song of forbidden knowledge. And always, always, she yearned for the life she had lost, for the friends she had left behind, and for the simple joys of a mortal existence she would never know again. In her more lucid moments, Emma tried to use her newfound perception of time to find a way out. She scoured the infinite library for clues, studied the artifact itself, her weaknesses, but every potential solution slipped through her fingers like smoke. Sometimes she would stand before the mirror, watching Jack's life unfold without her. She saw him grow into a man, saw the hollow look in his eyes that never quite faded. He became a physicist, his work on temporal theory revolutionary, but always tinged with a hint of the impossible, as if he was reaching for something just beyond his grasp. As the decades passed, Emma watched Jack's life unfold from afar, unable to interact or communicate. She saw him marry, have children, and grow old, the ever-present hollow look in his eyes a silent reminder of the adventure that had altered the course of their lives. Jack's achievements in temporal theory were groundbreaking, yet they always carried an undercurrent of melancholy, as if he was chasing a shadow of a memory he couldn't fully recall. In her spectral existence, Emma tried desperately to find a way to communicate with Jack, to let him know she was still there, watching, waiting, but the veil that separated them was unyielding. The moments of connection they once shared became nothing more than distant echoes in the vastness of time. As Jack lay on his deathbed, surrounded by his loving family, a sense of peace seemed to wash over him. His final moments were filled with the warmth of loved ones, but his thoughts lingered on the mysteries that had consumed him for so long. As he took his last breath, he whispered Emma's name. Flicker of recognition in his fading eyes. In the realm of echoes, Emma felt the bond between them sever completely. Jack's passing left her with an unbearable sense of loss and finality. She was now truly alone, wrapped in a timeless prison, with nothing but the memories of her past and the endless echoing halls of Blackthorn Manor. As years stretched into centuries, the manor continued to draw in the curious and the desperate, each seeking the power of the artifact, each meeting the same fate. Emma watched as new souls were ensnared, their stories merging into the endless cycle of the manor's curse. In her final act of defiance, Emma attempted to destroy the artifact, hoping to end the cycle and free the trapped souls. She used all the knowledge she had gathered, all the power she could muster. But the artifact was indestructible, a permanent fixture in the fabric of time itself. Her efforts only succeeded in weakening her essence, fading her presence within the realm even further. With no hope left, Emma resigned herself to her fate. She became a mere whisper in the manor, a once vibrant spirit now a faint echo, barely distinguishable from the countless others who had come before her. The legend of Blackthorn Manor persisted, a dark tale passed down through generations, warning of the dangers of seeking forbidden knowledge. And so the tragic cycle continued. With Emma and the other trapped souls, forever bound to the echoing halls, their stories lost to time, their existence reduced to shadows in the darkness, the manor stood as a monument to their despair, a place where echoes of eternity lingered, forgotten by the world outside. In the end, Emma's curiosity and desire for knowledge had led her to a fate worse than death, a life without end, without hope, and without the simple, fleeting joys of human existence. The true cost of the artifact's power was revealed, an eternity of isolation and longing, a tragic reminder that some secrets are better left undiscovered.